Welcome back to another breakdown video. In my last two videos, I talked about Conor McGregor and his new workout video. And I said I was not impressed. And on the next video, I talked about how he could have improved it. I wanted to be fair in this, and I wanted to get a hold of some Dustin Poirier workout video, his opponent and his upcoming opponent. So let's go to the video and break it down. Alright, so the only video I was able to get a hold of was a little bit of a chopped up video from I think his last workout video before his Conor McGregor fight. I haven't seen any updated workout videos, so this is what I have and this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to continually just pause it at certain points so I can break down and explain what's going on, what I like and what I don't like about the workout. Alright, so here we go. We've got Dustin doing some footwork here. Just some drills, some lateral and forward movements with some tension by his trainer pulling him out of position. So this is how fast can you transition one direction to another with still keeping your balance. So that was good movement. Great. Now I'm going to pause here and break this down a little bit. This is actually a lot more going on here than you might first assume. Not only is he working the jab and his footwork in it, but he's also got resistance with a band going around his back that he's holding on to his hands. So when he's jabbing or punching, he's got resistance going in a horizontal plane and not a vertical plane. So if he was holding dumbbells while he was doing this, gravity would be pulling it down. But here, the band is pulling it horizontally. All right, so he's in and out. I like to think of this as somebody who's fencing. Jabbing forward, closing the distance with the correct footwork. Nice work. All right, here what we have is some explosive medicine ball tosses. Now, what he continually does through this workout, I have seen some of this footage, is they do an amazing job with this trainer is not learning to decelerate during the movement, but rather to explode through the movement. So as he goes lateral here, he does a transverse turn and he explodes the medicine ball towards the wall. He explodes. He does not slow down during the movement. So lateral, explosive turn. Awesome footwork. Okay, now this is a key point which you'll know consistently throughout this video. They use bands. This is what I do with my athletes as well. This is an amazing technique that you can use. And what bands do is they help so that you can have accommodating resistance. So the resistance gets greater through the range of motion, but also, and more importantly for an athlete, it doesn't train the body to decelerate or slow down during the movement, but rather to accelerate through the movement. So this is really important for athletes that you don't learn how to slow down, but you're training your body how to speed up through movement. So we have a trap bar deadlift here, banded once again. And what I like about this is he's training at a fast speed. He's training at a speed he wants to use during the movement. He's not doing like a bodybuilder would go time under tension and slow. Rather, he's exploding speed through the movement. Train quick, move quick. Train slow, move slow. Once again, this is chopped up video, so there's not a lot on each movement. So he was just doing box jumps. He has a pretty good vertical there. And so he's exploding out of the hole on that box jump. Very good. Not sure how many reps he did. Okay, so now what he transitioned into is a bench press. And what he's doing a little different than normal on this is, once again, he's working speed, but he's working a modified range of motion too. So partial range of motion, like someone would do at the bottom position, maybe oompa up, just a very short explosive movement. So what he does here, short range of motion for the majority of the reps, and then he'll go to a full range of motion to take a second break off that tension point. Okay, good. All right, now here is an awesome drill. Okay, so we got the landmine here. And what he's doing is a push press. And once again, he's not stopping at the top where he would with like a dumbbell or going vertical where you go up and down. He's actually exploding outwards, and he's not slowing down so that the weight will actually explode out of his hands. So it's a push press as he's throwing the weight. So that's very good. And he didn't just stop at the top, but rather exploded through the movement. So push, press, Awesome. Now here, to kind of counterbalance what I'm thinking they did here, is a lot of those movements he was doing a push. They needed to counterbalance this with a pull movement. So what he's doing is this is a kind of a vertical pull with the bands. Also, it's a horizontal pull with gravity. So he's pulling the movement using his lats and biceps, and also the weight is trying to pull him forward out of position, and he has to counterbalance that. So this is not a bad movement. It'll be interesting to see as an athlete how that plays out. But I like it as a pulling technique, once again using the band for accommodating resistance, and so he can use no momentum in this movement. He has to keep tension the whole time. Good. So it's trying to pull him forward, but he's fighting the counterbalance. Now here, this is just simply like a reverse fly on the TRX, using his rear delts and his lat muscles to pull him. And he had his trainer in that last video actually using the band for resistance, so he keeps tension at the top of the movement, where normally if you didn't have tension at the top, it's almost like you're resting. So his trainer kept tension with him at the top of that movement. Okay, so this is that push press again, and instead of him throwing the bar, they use the band to slow down the momentum and use a resistance as it gets greater through the range of motion. So that's that accommodating resistance. And once again, he's exploding. He's not decelerating, he's accelerating. So it's a push press again, very similar to the throwing one he did, just using a band, which I like this one a lot. All right, now here, he's doing a front squat. And the value of a front squat is twofold. Okay, so not only is it keeping him to have to fight the vertical position because the bar is continually pulling you forward in a vertical position. So he's having to use his posterior chain, his back muscles, to keep that posture vertical. But it's also making that core work to have to stabilize the weight more than on a back squat. Now he's doing this like an active pause technique where he's taking a rest on the rack and going to a full break at the bottom of the movement here. So there's no tension on him. So he has to explode from the bottom position. There's no stretch reflex as if you were going up and down in the movement. He's having to explode from the bottom on each rep, which really works the quad and the hip drive here. Boom. And you can't tell in this video, it's not a very good shot, but you can hear in the video if you listen that there's chains on the outside of the bar too. So once again, those chains work for accommodating resistance. The higher the bar gets, the heavier it gets. And also, it's a little bit harder to get out of that bottom or hole position. So as he creates the momentum, it slows him down a little bit. Okay, now this particular movement, this is a good one. Not a lot of people use this. It is a Zercher squat, okay? Now, on a Zercher squat, it's very similar to a front squat, but you're holding the bar in the crick of your elbow. Now this even more so pulls you forward and out of position, and he has to keep this isometrically tight in his arms, but also he really has to fight this back position where he has to not be pulled forward. And on this also, he is using chains. So once again, he's exploding and the resistance is getting harder as he stands up, and it's pulling him forward and out of position as well. And also again, he is at a little bit lower position, it looks like, than his front squat. So he's taking this at a dead stop position at the bottom. So he has to explode out of the hole each and every time on this bar. Okay, let's watch it. Zercher squats from the rack. Once again, using chains. Okay, so this is more and more common now in the gyms. Nice pause there. This is just a hip thrust or a hip bridge. So most movements that we do in life, and especially in sport, we start from the core and the movement goes to the extremities. So this is very important. You can never undertrain your glutes and your core section here. So this is a very good isolation movement for him to create hip drive, which is kind of the base of all movement. So really important. I like that he's doing this movement. We're seeing it more and more in gyms, just regular people doing it, but very important for athletes. All right, so that was the video. Now, because I haven't seen this video unchopped up, I don't know the reps and the sets and the breaks that he was using in this workout. So it's really hard for me to really break down this video and rate it, but I'm gonna say the movements themselves are awesome. Great job with the workout. I'd like to see it unchopped up or some newer footage potentially that they're using. So I do want to give a shout out. I think his trainer's name is Phil Daru, if I pronounced that correctly, I hope. Great job to him, and the exercises are definitely something that I would use with my athletes. So very good. I really like the programming as far as movements. So I'm going to give it a score, an 8 out of 10, which is a great score. I can't go any higher than that just because I don't know the programming itself for the reps and sets and the time and the tension and all that. So overall, I give it an 8 out of 10. And the last but not least, my encouragement of the day comes from Ephesians 2:8. For it is grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not of yourself. It is a gift of God. Now, if you can, show me some love and like this video. Subscribe so I know that you want to know what's going on and more interesting and more videos to break down. I want to say peace, and I'm out.